Hi, Facebook.
All right, so I think we're up now. Sorry for technical difficulties with the Facebook stuff. I think what we'll do is we'll work on doing our form first. So our first step, again, everybody today, welcome. We're going to go ahead and run through our drills, our Sunday drills, mostly footwork. Today we'll do some work around the Pell and some throwing stuff around the Pell to get some timing with the swords and such. For people who have been doing this for a while, even through the footwork, let's try to hold something in your hands, or at least keep your hands in fighting form while you're going through them, eyes nice and high. For everyone else, worry about to get your feet right first, because it doesn't help all of a sudden being in sword and shield and having to think about them when your feet are still wrong. So get the feet right and you build from ground up. All right. So I don't care if you think if you feel like you're spending too much time with that sword and shield, even if you've been with us for a while, set it down, make sure you got it right, and then go back to it. Everyone, as the weather's getting better and better, some people are going outside, watch your terrain, make sure that you guys stay safe. You all know you're responsible for your health, so make sure that you take care of that. You're here to enjoy yourself. Do as much as you can. This is a long practice, usually about 2.5 hours. Lots of people bail around 1.5 hours of it. But towards the end, we get in a lot more throwing drills and things like that. Again, if you have to, sit down for a while, rest, come on back. We're here. It's on Facebook. It'll stay there. You can always go back and restart where you left off and do the rest of the exercises. But it's great to have everybody, and let's have a little bit of fun. And if for those that are on our Zoom that participate in our Zoom session, anybody's welcome to. You just have to message us. If you want input, then turn your cameras on. We'll look at input as we're going around through all of the drills and things, make sure everybody's looking good at doing stuff. And if you have questions, go ahead and talk. We already mentioned that if you don't want to be on, even if you don't want to be seen all the time, go ahead and turn your video off. And when you have a question, we can always turn the video on. If you don't want Facebook to see you, then just make sure we know. Anybody who's already told us, we'll make sure that we don't display you on the Facebook feed. So everybody knows, or at least a bunch of us know, the first beginning of this is all going to be about, let's warm it up. So basically just nice flat-footed, simple squats. All right, guys? So for the people that are brand new, get about 10 of them in. For everybody else, let's put our 15 in. If you're feeling good, then go ahead and put your 20 in. This is a workout session. Let's get it done. Try to keep your head up while you do these, just like you're doing a real squat. In this case, you'll notice, because your heels are on the ground, your back is going to bend. So, and that's perfectly fine. Just try to keep your center over, right flat over your center. Try to keep your back up a little bit. Don't hunch. And just go down to where you're comfortable and your knees are comfortable, your ankles are comfortable, all of those things. As you get better and better, as you get stronger and stronger, this just becomes easier to do. Good part of this is you know your body. Make sure that you push yourself a little bit, but not so much that you're going to hurt yourself and you can't participate next week.
When you get a chance, can you bring me 3 items?
All right. So next part of this is going to be our basic. We're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to start. You're going to push all the way up onto the balls of your feet, and then you're going to really extend, okay? And try to get right up on your toes. You'll feel your toes kind of balancing your body. That's where you want to be. What we're doing is we're pushing strength into the bottom of your foot and learning balance. And then after you do that for a second, go down. And this time your heels can lift off the ground, but I want you perfectly flat. Look at my back. So this is, we're going to stay nice and stacked, what we call it, where your back is perfectly vertical to the ground. Yeah. We're going to drop to another camera so you can see. There we go.
please.
All right, here, a little closer. Again, so I push up all the way up on my toes. You can see I get a little extra height. Build that strength in those toes, and then I'm going to go all the way down. Look, I keep my back nice and straight and chin up. And then back up again. And then push all the way up when you get to the top.
Mommy will be out here soon.
And then down.
Mommy. What? Mommy.
And then all the way up. So let's get 10, 15 of these in. Let's get them nice and warmed up. This is really just basic strength, stretching, warming the muscles up, getting the fluids into those joints so you don't abuse them right away. And it's okay if you fall back to your heels, then just put yourself back up again. This is a balance exercise as well. There's no failing. All right. Next one is essentially our shifting drills, or I call it around here we call it our rocker drill. So what we're going to do is we're going to rock forward all the way again on those toes. Try not to roll your, now I'll show you here. If you look at my knee, try not to roll your knee outside your foot because that becomes dangerous for your knee joint itself. Ultimately, that knee should be over your foot or almost, if you drop a pendulum from it, it's almost over your big toe. But, so we're going to, in this case, start nice and even. You're going to push all the way forward again and really try to reach it out there. You're building that strength and balance. And then you're going to go all the way back. Okay? Don't have to lift your foot, but that's how much balance is back here. You're going to be on your heel. Some on this are flat, at least 50-50 on that back foot. And then we're going to roll all the way forward again. When you get really strong in that leg, you'll be able to reach that foot up. There's a lot of balance going on. Again, though, look how my back stays nice and straight through all of these. All right? The key is, this is how we want our back. And I'm not doing this, so my belly's not here and I'm not pulling up, pushing my chest out. I'm actually using where my belt buckle would be to tilt that hip. Remember, we want that vertical belt or that horizontal belt to the ground. So if you're here, this is wrong, this is right. All right? And then back. And then adjust this level here, your hips adjust as you go forward and back. The same thing happens while we're fighting. This allows us to keep our upper body in the exact same position all the time, which allows for more consistency with your shots and your defense. That's it. So let's get some of those in, nice and warmed up. You got it.
It burns.
And really push forward on those toes. Your big toe is going to hurt after this is done. All right. All right, get what you have to get in. And the last piece is, let's make sure we roll those ankles a little bit, especially for people that are working on cement floors. Our floor has been brutal on our ankles. If you're outside, it's nice because the ground gives.
Unless it's still frozen.
Unless it's still frozen. Then it may give, but not in the right way. So just let's get those ankles nice and turned and rolled because we're going to be using a lot of feet and a lot of balls of the foot again, as most people here already know. All right, so again, these are our basic ladder drills we're going to run through. This is Agility 101. The key around agility is the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you understand where your feet are all the time, but really it comes down to where your center is. And in most of these drills, it's all going to be about essentially moving that center first. So if I'm shifting one way, I move this center over and then I fall off to that way. So make sure while you're doing these that you should be moving that center before your feet in any of the exercise you find yourself doing. And this exercise will help. And this is the reason why we're going to do this exercise going forward and backwards in a lot of the drills. And we're going to switch feet from, and again, I don't care if you're a funny foot fighter or a normal shield stance forward fighter. It really doesn't matter to me. We will say some stuff from time to time. Just know if we say, you know, go into your normal stance and then switch your stance, that means go into the opposite stance that you're normally in.
Yeah, we're trying to make all of our terms generic to your front foot, your back foot, that kind of thing, instead of specifying left and right.
All right, let's go.
All right, first up, 2-foot run. For those of you that haven't been here before, we'll teach you real quick. Pick a foot, I pick left, you go 1, 2, next box, 1, 2, just all the way down. And then repeat on your other foot. If you're doing good with that one, you can try doing it backwards. Yeah, like that. You have to make the same face that Brahma's face does.
Yes, I'm like, my feet. I'm going to fall.
Silly faces are required sometimes.
And again, if you find yourself done before everybody else, go ahead and roll through it again. The best part here is that the more you do this, the more strength you build in your core and legs, the longer you'll last in fight practice.
Yeah, a bunch of people showed up too. So
welcome to everybody who just showed up. We have about let's see, probably about 16, 17 folks. So that's great, and the folks on Facebook. All right, let me just double check. Looks like most people are done. Let's go ahead and do it again. That's the next one.
all right. Let me see which way is going to be best to show this. This side. Lateral in, out, out. Side facing the ladder. I'm moving sideways down the ladder. So the foot in the direction I'm going, I step forward in, 1, 2, back out. You just go in, out, out. We have very creative names for our ladder drills, you'll see. And then make sure you do it in the other direction. So really you just stay on the same side of the ladder and go back.
So as you get better at this drill, the key is go ahead and add some speed. Work on keeping your eyes up, right? And that speed's going to add more foot agility itself. Graham? Yeah. Looking good out there, everybody. Awesome. Davey's looking great out there. Good to see you, Ron Welder.
Nice to be here. Halbera joined me, so she's here too.
Awesome. I see we got a big fist. That's great. All right, so next one.
All right, next one, we very creatively call the 4-step. Stand beside the ladder, facing down the direction you're going to go. And then you step to your side. 1, 2 into the ladder. 1, 2 out the other side. Go to the next box. In, out. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So this is
That's the name.
This is the first drill where we're going to use that balance really a lot. We're going to shift our hip and do a simple drop step this way. Then I'm going to kind of push my hip this way and drop step into it. Get back into your stance.
This is one where if you've mastered the basic stepping, try and stay in your stance, beginning and end.
You do a 20 foot now?
No.
Oh, no, you're.
Okay.
And then you can start throwing variations on it. You can switch and stand with what your funny foot stance is, your 1 foot forward. And you can try doing it all backwards in normal or funny foot stance.
Go ahead and do it backwards. Good part about this exercise is you're learning not only control your side to side, but you're learning how to go forward and backwards. So there's 2 dimensions of where you're dropping and moving, your body's pulling you. So there's a good beginning way to understand how to control that balance. Keep that back nice and straight. Head up. Like Ron Golder says, watch that wall. If you have to, watch a spot on the wall.
And we're running through all of these slightly faster, since you've been here a while. If you are newer and need us to slow down and show it again, chime in, say so. I'm more than happy to slow it down and show it again.
All right, we're gonna watch.
One thing I'm noticing with the helmet on is it's putting the 10-pound weight up here has made shifting over my hips a bit trickier. It's harder to feel.
Well, and that's going to be the key as you put gear on. Your balance of your body shifts. So it's a great learning session. The good part is you'll pick it up very fast.
Yeah, it seemed to go, but it's like this is just so much helmet on. I hadn't factored in how much 10 pounds up here, 10 to 15 pounds up here would do.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good part about going ahead and warming up and then adding stuff as you get better and better at things.
Yep. Well, my victory condition was to have my hat on for at least part of the practice, so it'll come back.
That's awesome.
Right. Remember that this is a kind of a shuffle.
For the tall stuff.
So remember, this is a shuffle step in this when we're doing this. So the idea is the foot comes in, this one shuffles to this foot, and then you drop out. Right? Later on, and I see some people doing this already, you can actually use a little bit of a cross step on it. We'll do something like this later.
Yeah, do a whole bunch that are small variants of each other.
So this is an example of a shuffle step. Foot to foot, and then keep going, catching yourself all the way through this exercise. All right, look like everybody's very nice, Octa. Got a couple of people waiting, that's good. All right.
We're good.
Let's go ahead, we'll move on to the next one.
All right, so this next one is our real basic drop step move. 1 foot in the box, 1 foot out the box, facing down the ladder. These are where we call them our skiers. This is the shuffle step version, or really it's or not shuffle step, gather step. It's really a drop step with a gather. So shift my weight, drop, together, drop, together. So I always end up with 1 foot in the next box. And then you can do it backwards.
And you can switch your feet. So let's go ahead and give everybody a little bit of time. We're going to watch on this one because this one, again, we're shifting over, we're lifting this foot and we're stepping out. Shift back, step out. Shift back, step out. How they doing?
You're good.
Nice, Bess. You're looking better and better. Blue, you're looking really good. I like your nice and low. Keep that back straight. It looks good though. Very nice. Way to keep your hands up. Good to see you, Helgi. That's the way, guys. So for you guys, if finding it, some people have been here for a while. If you're finding this interested, like Dramaticus, I'd like you to see it drop a little bit deeper in that stance if you can. So if your knees support it, give me 1 more inch. Yep. All right. Just letting a few people switch these, finish these up. Remember, don't be afraid. You just keep doing them until we're ready to go for the next one. Hey, good to have you, Fox. Glad you fixed your problems.
Having camera problems.
Bridget, as you get a little better, I want you to set it up so you have your knees a little bit so that your head doesn't bob up and down. There we go. Better. Those feet just glide across the floor. Grammar, that's nice. Where'd you come from? Very good. Look at those shoulders are even up. Nice job, brother. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Everybody's doing great.
All right, next one is another version of skiers. We call this one shuffle step version because what we're going to do is change the order our feet move in. Instead of dropping open first, we're going to bring the outside foot into the ladder and then open back up. So there's still a shifting weight dropping motion. We're just moving the other leg first.
And when you first start this, think about your foot when you're doing this shuffle step coming into about the middle of the next step. And then you move it over. And then for those who are a little better at and feel comfortable, then you can start thinking about adding a little bit more swing to those. All right? So, but let's make sure you get down into your knees for these because it's a lot easier to do these if your knees are bent. Keep that back nice and straight.
And it's okay to slow down and over-exaggerate that weight shift to get the hang of it.
So do these forward. You can do them forward both ways. In other words, funny foot for whatever you're doing. So switch your stance. And then go ahead and start them backwards. Same thing. Just get that foot halfway into the ladder behind the foot instead in front. And fall into that next step.
And stay up.
And don't let that butt, don't get any no duck butt out there, guys. What we mean by duck butt is, remember, we want our hips horizontal to the ground. All right? Gotta keep our body nice and straight.
You can all thank our old yoga teacher for the term duck butt. It has stuck with us.
Those are nice, Elfwin. You're looking really good this week. Bess, what are those? I want to see you shift across that ladder, Bess. Your whole body should be on the other side of that ladder. Go back. Better. That's the idea, though. Your upper body's moving now. So, yeah, go ahead. Just leave 5 seconds. That's better, Bess. All right, good. You can see your body moving side to side now. That's what the important part is. Very nice. Fox getting a little warmed up over there. Okay, those look good. Go ahead, get yours in. Did you get your backwards in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're done, really sometimes just get back on the ladder and think about doing it super slow and see how your body just using your hips and center to move your feet. And that'll give you a real feeling for how your body should be moving. Sometimes we cheat that when we go too fast.
And fall over.
All right.
So just saw.
So let me see if everybody's looking pretty done. It looks like most people are pretty done. We got, there you go. Yep. Grimmer's just going through super slow so you can feel it. Let yourself fall right onto those feet, Grimmer. Don't get the weight back onto that front too much. There you go. Good. And then fall. Yeah. You're almost falling to either side of the ladder. All right. We're going to move on.
So next one, we're going to do almost the same thing, but we're going to add that rotation. So I'm going to start pointed in, and then I'm going to do that same step to the box and back out, but I'm going to add that rotation. So I'm spinning around my imaginary opponent who's right here.
So again, this is a shuffle step, but now we have to make sure that we're pointing our foot in the right way when we make that first step. So here I am, I'm pointed this way. My first step is going to be down the ladder. And then we're back. Whoops.
And you get one foot in the ladder.
1 foot in the ladder, there we go. So here, this foot comes up, and I shuffle. This foot comes up. If you can't point it down the leg, really I want to point it to the 45 that I'm turning on. You can see that foot points to the 45, foot points to the 45. If your knee hurts from doing this, that's fine. Point it as much as you can, and then when you get over here, let yourself turn. Let that foot turn on the ball a little bit. Okay?
And as you're able to speed it up, you can get a little more air time and do some of that turn in the air so you don't have to have as much twist in foot and knee.
Nice, Elfwin, that's great. How you doing, Abelard? Let's see it again. Yeah, that's nice. Good job. Let's straighten that back up a little bit. I really want you sitting. There you go. Really nice. That's a good back right there. Awesome. Exactly. You know, if you're thinking yourself kind of while you're doing this throwing stuff, you can see why your body needs to be standing up. You nice kind of shift it into those legs, and you're ready to throw something right on that turn. Nice job, Octa. Bridget, nice. Good turns on those feet. You're leaning a little bit forward, Blue. Let's fix it. Hey, you got Big Fist all armored up. How's that going with all armored up, Big Fist? Good? Awesome. Good to hear.
I haven't had it at all yet, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. Ooh, nice, William. Very good. I'd like seeing you down in those legs like that. Yep, exactly. Nice, sword and shield there. Your back is looking so much better. And your hand position looks great. Let's see that again, Octa.
And I'm failing.
Yeah. Yeah, just make sure your body rotates with that with your direction, right? Yep. Yeah, this way you can even go to 90 degrees if you're really happy, right?
Yeah, I'm leading with my.
Exactly. So you get a double twist going on in your body there first. That's the way everybody keeps it. Even if it's just slow. And remember, you can do it funny-footed as well, right? So
This one kind of switches. This is switched.
oh, that's true. This one switches stance on its own. Sorry. Because you switch every time, so that's fine. All right. Big fist, not bad. Get more turn. Your whole body should be 45. Yeah, right there. That's better. All right. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Next one. We're going to go back to that shuffle step without the turn we were doing, and now instead we're going to add a step on the front. So I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm going to step to the next box, and then I'm going to together apart. step together apart. So it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And again, make sure you're going all the way to each side of the ladder. Your body should be over the side of the ladder each time. You don't want that tilting of the body too much.
Want your body to stay still while your feet move around side to side.
Yep. If you've been doing this a long time, I'd like you to try it once, increasing your speed and digging down another 2 or 3 inches in your stance. I mean, I'm talking really digging down into the stance, and it's like, it bursts.
I can go down or I can burst, but apparently I can't do both.
There. Keep trying. And then of course, backwards.
Should be working up a sweat by now.
Work up a sweat during squats, is that bad?
Ow.
All right, I'm gonna watch. Nice, Louie. Your body is much better there. Nice work there, Bridget. Both ways, forward and back. Awesome. That's the way, Beth. Nice job. And I'm happy you're down in your knees a little bit more today. Alf went great as normal.
Being down in your knees will save you when you put the helmet on.
Yep, exactly.
Need the lowrider music playing right now.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna.
Gee, thanks for the earworm.
That's my superpower.
We're gonna have you move to the next one.
Okay, next one. Same thing, but now we're gonna make it bigger by actually crossing that foot behind instead of just stepping together. So I start actually out on the side of the ladder here, stay with my foot on the rung, or not the rung, the
On
side.
the side of the ladder.
Whatever, the rail. Step forward, and then I'm doing the slow, super awkward version. Cross behind, come apart. Step forward, cross behind, come apart. And then that cross gets a lot less awkward as you speed it up.
And keep lowering your stance with your knees bent and try and keep your hips pointed forward.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want your hips turning with this one. I don't mind if you already have a stance that your hips aren't forward and semi-cocked, but you want to stay in whatever your stance, the hips are in your stance. And then you're going to make us do them backwards.
Yeah, and then this one can be done backwards, but when you're going backwards, your foot crosses in front instead of behind.
And I don't do these very well.
Because you'll notice after you take the step, the one that needs to cross is already in front of the other one, so leave it there.
And again, the big difference here on these between a gather step, right, and a shuffle step and a crossover step is distance. Each one of them gets farther. So as you set up with your opponent, if he makes a gathering step and you make a shuffle or a crossover step, you're going to have a better angle than he does. So understanding how to do that allows you to build this into a fight. Exactly.
Demos.
All right, let me see how everybody's doing. Grimmer, you're looking better every week, brother. Yeah. Good. William, Severin, you guys are doing great. Make sure. I want big shifts out of you guys and even dig into those even harder. Yeah. I see you're kind of going through it and seeing how those feel, Dramaticus. That's good. I like it. Bridget, you're doing better on the going backwards than I am, so I hate you. She's too funny. Nice. Yep, that's exactly it, Bess. You're doing exactly the right thing. Good. And you will get more and more comfortable with that, and you're going to be able to, later, you're going to be able to swing that step behind you and even get more distance. Elfin, you're kind of already doing that. Your back stuff is really good. Let's see, I saw Chris out here. He's working on stuff. Good.
When I try to do the big back step, my hips kind of move on.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to
you turn a little bit. You want to try to keep them forward. So you remember instead. So as that step goes across, release your other foot because you remember your balance is in your hip. So as it hits about halfway through, let the other foot go. Like swing it across the back and let the other foot go. So I'm going to show you on our camera.
Okay.
Give me just a second.
Hold on 1 second, and I'll show you what the idea is here. All right.
You
So the big piece here is, as I shift this foot, you notice my hips don't do this, right? The shift is you try to keep this foot pointed forward because if you turn this, your hip is going to turn. So what's happening is you're turning this way. Just allow it to shift. Put your toes like the toes are going to the next place. But what's happening is you're almost falling. You notice that my feet end up off the ground almost the same time as it shifts behind.
And you're bending your knees a lot.
And then bend those knees a little bit more. Right? And the deeper you bend them, the more width you can get with this back leg. Okay? But the idea is, as I throw this across, I'm already going to another place. It's not this. If I throw this across, I don't like, okay, everything's on this foot. And now I'm turning everything, I'm leaving everything on that foot. That's not the case. I'm going to point where I want to be, and I'm going to put that foot there. If my back foot's going to be over here, I'm going to point and just let your front foot go. So I'm going to watch how you do, Bess.
It's a gallop.
It's almost like a gallop. That's better, Bess. Exactly. Notice you're not turning quite as much. You got a little bit of turn in that last one, but it wasn't nearly as much. You see how you fall into all the way across that ladder. Let your body go. There you go. Good. Does that feel any better, Bess? Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that. All right. So I think everybody had a chance to do that. We're going to move it on.
All right. So now we're going to go back to the more basic drop step with the drop apart and then gather. And now we're going to make it extra big. So I'm going to stand off to the side of the ladder, get down in your knees as far as you can. Shift weight, drop, gather.
And back into your stance. I don't care what stance that is. If you can't do these very far at the beginning, then start with your foot just inside one side. Oops. Start with your foot just inside and then drop it outside so that you're literally not going as far. But for the folks that have been here for a while, this is the big gathering step. So let's make sure we're all the way. You can add a little bit of shooting to this too later to get bigger movement.
And this is one where you start in your stance and try and land in that stance every time. And then you can repeat switching feet to the wrong stance for you. And then you can do it backwards in both stances. You wouldn't think it makes a huge difference jumping side to side with a different foot forward, but it does.
So this is a real huge example of what a drop step is. That you're literally dropping and gathering your other foot.
It's a direct correlation between how low you can get and how far sideways you can get.
Exactly. And all of this should be led by your hip. Nice, Dramaticus. That's exactly it. Nice job, Bridget. You look like you're starting to trust your center a lot, which is awesome. Good, Bess. Just make sure you're not popping up. Keep that head nice and flat. There you go. Good. Yep, that's it, Fox. Way to go. Exactly. Always back into the next stance. There you are. Always back into your good stance. Nice. As you get better and better at this, you can really dig in and drop into your stance and get bigger shooting done. So just an example again is when we're doing this, the idea is if I'm coming across that ladder, going on that 45, I can remember you can point right where you're going, is as I'm falling into this position, and again, I'm going straight sideways, at the very end, I can push off the side of my foot to get more distance. At the beginning, don't worry about that. Just fall onto that other foot. But as you get better, it's like, phew, you're way over now. Okay? That's that shifting that you do from side to side for your opponent to break his angles. And that's why you want a good, nice, good butt wrap, then you're going to shoot to their 45 and hook around them with a nice gathering step. All right, we're just taking a look, see where everybody is on this. You remember, you can do these backwards. Make sure you're falling into those. You're literally should be sitting into nothing. Not pushing off that other foot, but literally sitting in. This butt falls into that 45. Oh, there, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go over here. Good. Going to give 1 minute more for the back on this. I'm going to make sure there's no Facebook talking going on.
Yeah, I left mine up. Just
Oh, you left yours up. Good. Okay.
trying not to miss any Facebook comments again. I felt bad.
All right. Octa, those look really good. Your hips are really perfect. As you get better at these, though, I want you to get a little bit more depth in those feet every once in a while and give it a big burst.
Depth as far as range or depth as far as lower to the ground?
Yeah, this step part is so you're going to do both. You're going to drop about another inch or two to the ground, so you can get more burst off the ground as you're falling into that emptiness, right? So you should be closer to the ground, and you should get farther burst, another inch or two of burst. Yes. You can see how big those can become, right?
Watch how close your feet end up together.
Yeah, that's the only part. You have to watch your feet. Make sure you're in a good stance all the way through it. Good.
So you can do this with switching your stance, and you can do it with keeping your stance.
Either way.
Like,
Your eyes
normal.
are good. You caught me. I accidentally switched my stance. I didn't mean to.
You sure did.
Yeah, but actually, you know, a couple of challenges you can do with all of these drills are to, one, a variation is to switch your stance on every one. Another variation is to go with your normal foot forward, and then you can go with your opposite foot forward, and then you can try and focus on smoothness and trying to keep your center from bouncing. So there's a lot of different variations that you can redo, like all these drills.
That sounds like a good sparring drill. If your opponent can catch you switching feet, you lose.
Like they're all valid pieces of footwork. It's a matter of doing it on purpose.
So later on, this is a great, you know, somebody brought it up that this is a great sparring drill. So if me and Louie, if you once you get to practice, you can have somebody right there. And I watch Louie, and as he does something, I'm going to counter the same way. So in other words, he's jumping there, then I go. And I keep time with him. See, and then he's going to keep time with me if I take it. All right? So this is the idea that we're always, you're counter timing, you're essentially staying in time with your opponent and always in front of them so they don't get an angle.
Yes,
So
sir.
this translates right into practice where you can actually work with somebody. Paul does a lot of this force drill where you do it in slow motion. Here you can do this same thing. We do it all the time, side to side on a line, front and back.
All over the yard.
Yeah. So. All right, we're going to move to the next one.
We'll just run 2 minutes and we'll literally use my entire half-acre lawn just all over the place.
Nice.
All right, so the next one we're going to do is our turning drill. This one gets a little funny. So, I'm in my normal stance, left foot forward, facing the side of the ladder. I'm going to take my back foot, put it in the ladder, facing down in the direction I'm moving. Then I'm going to flip around to the other side and back into my stance, facing the ladder from the other side. Then I'm going to rinse and repeat. Going the other way. So it's still my back foot, down the ladder, get back in my stance on the other side.
If you can, try to be 90 degrees on each of those turns. If you can't quite get 90 degrees, just work on 45 and build it up. But so this is a real important one because we don't tend to turn well in the SCA, and this starts the idea, and you saw it in a couple other ones, where we're turning your feet, provide you direction in where you're going and where your hips are going. So we have to practice that more because we don't often.
This helps with the turning around and staying.
So Chris was, my hips are wobbling at, let me go back to chat here for a second. Hold on. Hips are wobbling. I'm going slow between sitting too long in front of a computer. Yeah. All right, so we'll talk about hip stabilizers. So for you, just go, Chris, go really slow for now. And you can don't dig into your stance totally. You still want to be a little bit bent in legs, but also if you have to rest for a second, you'll find that the hips will release a little. But most of these drills are also some flexibility in there, and I'll post some stuff on flexibility and more hip stuff after our class so that everybody, if they're interested, can work on a little bit more about strengthening and make sure their hips are flexible so you don't get things like sciatica and things like that.
Yeah, a foam roller on the hips afterwards is great too.
Yes.
Once you have made it all the way down the ladder, stepping with your back foot, go line up again in your normal stance. So I'm left foot forward again, and now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to step with my front foot first every time. So that's my left foot is going to go point down the ladder, flip around, get back in stance. Front foot down the ladder, flip around, back in stance.
If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, try to stay on the ball of your feet the whole way through.
Yeah, that's the idea. The more you can stay on the balls of your feet through this, the more agile you'll be. Yeah, Elfin, that looks great. You're doing a great job. I'm gonna just through this one. I'm gonna go and take a look at some folks. That's it. Get a little bit more turn on your first step, Grimmer. That's it. Good. You see how that's pointing different? Yes. Make sure it's pointing down the ladder. Good. Yeah, make sure. So your job, Grimmer, is to really take a look at where those feet are pointing and slowly get them so you can point them in the right direction. All right, I'm going to take a look at Germanicus here. You're looking good. So again, remember, watch popping back, straightening all that body out. Try to keep a nice flat eye on, even when you stop at the end, when you're back into your stance. We don't want to pop up because that gives opponent an opportunity to hit something. Because if you do it that, if that becomes a natural thing, your opponent will figure it out.
They will read it all day.
So let me pop over to some more folks. All right, Bess, you're looking much better at these. Awesome.
And if you
Albert, that looks good too. You're doing a nice job. So as you get better and better, I want you to try to push those to 90 degrees on it. Bridget, you're doing great on those 90s. Very nice.
if you've got pretty comfy with these, you can switch stance to your wrong foot forward and do it again, both ways, stepping with back and front foot, if you need the extra challenge.
Yeah. Big Fist, you're looking pretty good. Again, try to make sure even when you stop that you're at the same height. Don't stand up when you stop at the end. Okay? You're doing pretty good at it. There's a tiny little bit of pop at the end where we tend to relax. That's where you have to watch it.
You can also do them all backwards.
Yeah. But why?
Nice, Fox.
Why would I do that to myself?
Good. Let's see how Chris is doing over there. He's stretching out his hips.
Smart man.
Smart man. Hey, Blue, fix that back. Let's see. I want to see it again the right way. Ah, that's a nice seat. Yeah, tilt those hips up. Tilt them up a little more. Get those hips under you. That's a better back. So, Blue, I want you to go in the middle of the room for me for a second. And we're going to highlight you for a second. All right. So, right there. Now, get in your stance like you're going to do this. Good. Now, you see how your butt's kind of sticking out a little bit? Like, where's your belt buckle pointing? Down towards the ground? There we go. That's better. Now your butt's under you. There we go. Watch that belt buckle. Look now. Look where you are right now. Oh, that's better. There we go. It's easy to fall back into that butt hanging out, ain't it?
Talk about where the belt buckle's pointing and all I can think
I should get your wife in that room. She just hit you every time. Hit you, ass wrap you every time you stick that butt up. I think she does.
she'll be whipping me.
Exactly.
It'll be fun for everyone.
Welcome.
All right. Okay. Everybody, that's much better. So we have to really watch those hips. I see William and Saverna doing them backwards. Those guys have been rocking it, so that's really nice. Better. I see you're thinking about that a little bit more now, Blue. That's good. All right, let me switch back to our view. All right.
Now that we've done the difficult brain melty one, we're going to go to the not brain difficult ones. We're going to do our jab jump. So line up facing your ladder, moving sideways, and you're just going to jump in and out with both feet. Keep hips forward. Don't fall into the trap of turning sideways. And then of course switch feet and go back the other way.
So there's a couple ways to do this one. You can do this very fast and you'll get it a little. Fox, you're looking pretty good there. You can do this fast and you'll look a little bit more like a boxer where you're, if you look at that line, your body ends up, and I'm going to show you here sideways. Put it on the foot cam. So what happens is on a jab step, you'll see people doing a little bit of this. And you can see my body's changing. The lever of my angle of my body is changing. So that will allow you to do it faster, which isn't bad because you're just creating agility. But you really, this exercise is, I'm literally push my hip 2 inches forward, dropping into this step. 2 inches back, dropping into that step. You see how my body stays nice and straight?
And how your body's actually moving now.
And now my body's moving back and forth. It's not this. Where my head hardly moves, right? So think about that. You really like, here I am. I'm going to shift onto the back foot, shift onto the front foot, shift onto the back foot. And the balance changes from front to back in your feet. Nice. Big Fist, you're doing great on these. Nice. Hey, Graver, for a guy that couldn't do these before, you're doing all right. All right, Bess, let's see how you're doing. Yeah, that's Best, that looks great. Much better. I can see you from front to back, front to back. That's exactly it.
I finally figured out like it's not both my legs flailing from my hips. I'm actually pushing front foot, back foot.
Yes, and then really what's happening is your hips, literally like your center of balance goes forward, so your feet fall kind of forward into them. You fall into it, and then you fall back into it. So that's the idea. Abelard, that's not bad. So as long as if that's your normal stance, that's good. Watch your front foot's turning in on each jab, right? Yeah, exactly. So make sure you jab into. Yeah, that's better. All right, let's see what's. I'm looking great as normal. Got to be nice being outside there. Not on a ice skating rink.
This is so much easier when you can't actually have traction.
Exactly. And not abusing your feet. Bridget, you're looking good there. So almost all of that was perfect. You just had one time your body leaned just a tiny bit, but everything else looked good. So your job next is going to build up some speed. You're going to be a speed monster, okay? I'm going to have you and Bess do some races later. All right. So this is a really nice step to use in fighting. So if you guys are watching real quick, if I'm fighting Saib out here, I might be like, here I am. I like drop in 2 inches and then I'm back. You can see. You know, and then you can add a strike right on that front. Or I don't. I could just literally drop in, drop back, and then if she's at a range that I want to catch up to her, I could literally do this and see what she does, and she's going to take that step back. She's going to take that step back. Now she doesn't trust I'm coming anymore. See, now she's not moving as much. I'm good with this. And then I go ahead and fall all the way in and take up that space to catch up to her. This is very important against people that tend to have a good work of measure or distance. You can use this jab to counter that.
People that like to run.
All right.
Next.
Yep, next. Well, we're going to fix the floor real quick.
Louie's being awesome and retaking our circle.
Exactly. We'll be using that today too, so.
All right, so the next one, I'll come show it from this side. We're going to start out the same way. We got a foot in, foot out, but now we're going to do switch foot. So this time, instead of my body moving in and out, my body is going to stay centered right over the side of the ladder. And I'm just going to switch my feet underneath me.
And then you're going to actually give a little balance change sideways. So literally, I'm just. And then you can essentially go back. So that way you get a chance to do it both ways. Go ahead, Louis. Go ahead. There you go. It's all sudden now. So the funny part on all of this, you notice that we're all moving while we do this. And we're moving while our feet are going. It's not our feet moving us, it's our balance moving us sideways in this exercise. Nice, Abelard. Watch that front turn in toes. Don't turn those toes in. There you go. Thank you. So be careful when you turn your toes in. Akta, I want you to dig down in those feet. You're a little high still. You're going to start pushing yourself. There we go. Yeah. I don't even care if you fail. That's right. Good. Very nice, Bess. Woo! Bess, you got to speed up. Bridget's kicking ass here. She gave me the double thumbs up.
Bridget, turn your damn camera off.
You're making me look bad.
All right, let's see it, Chris. You doing all right over there? Yeah. Oh, that looks good. Oh, yep, not bad. Take your time if you have to. It's the first time, so there you go. Good. Now remember why we do this. We don't want to pop our head up and down. So go ahead and foot cam real quick. Again, this is just for everybody that's doing these. We're working on perfection. Just like when we hit fight practice, we're going to be working on perfection. So watch my body when I'm doing this. I'm not like, see my head's kind of up and down? It's this. As tight as possible. She's going to raise the camera a little bit.
Oh, no, I'm
Oh, there we go.
This off so you can
There we
see
go.
it.
So it's tight as possible. We don't want this. All right, we don't want to be off the ground that much. We want to keep those feet really tight to the ground. The whole body is staying nice and flat. This is important because we can switch feet in front of an opponent. We're going to do this a little bit later in some sword drills, and you can see how well it's going to work. All right. Let me see if everybody's ready. I think everybody looked pretty good. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to do our next one.
Okay. So back on the concept of that jab jump forward, we're going to line up at the end of our ladder. We're going to do that same 2-foot jump forward. We're going to jump forward 2 rungs and then backwards 1. So I'm jumping into my opponent and then backing off just a little.
So if you can't jump 2 rungs at first, the idea is just make sure when you jump, I'm not like just pushing off my back foot. So it isn't this. I'm not jumping up in the air and down. You're literally shifting your hips forward. Both hips are shifting forward. And you're falling onto that front foot and just pulling your back foot in together. And then you shift back, just like in a jab foot. The difference is now we're going farther on the first one and about the same on the second one.
There's another version of this one that you can practice that we won't run through today, and it's pushing off the front foot. So you're just shifting your weight forward and you're pushing off the front foot instead of the back foot.
Good. You can
Yeah,
show
show
once.
that because that description is not.
So as you're moving forward, you're coming off the back foot.
Right. It's kind of like it's almost like a gathering. It's in here. That's like a shuffle step. It's a shuffle step version of it. Because your back foot comes forward, takes the weight, and allows you to spring forward.
It's good to have as an option, especially if you're having problems with one of your ankles.
Well,
you can spare it.
Okay.
We'll do that with sword work because that will get you crazy long distance range on moving forward, like 8 to 10 feet.
All right. So remember, we're going to do this back. We're going to do this now with the other foot.
Yeah, that's a full-on step through. Which is slightly different from just shuffling.
So again, on this one, the idea is, remember, we're falling, just like I was showing you earlier. It's about pushing the hip forward and then falling and then shifting your balance back again. Akta, that looks good. Don't stand up on your back when you go back. Better. All right, watching again. Rotating through some people. Nice, that's good. Very good. All right, next person. Let's see how, yep, there we go. Watching Abelard. Let's straighten that back up now. There we go, thank you. And watch that back foot. The back foot's causing your front foot to turn. So make sure, yes, there we go. So your job is to watch that back foot. Don't let that back foot go sideways because your front foot will turn and that changes your blow and your defense. We're going to make you as consistent as possible. All right, next person. Let's see what we got. Blue, not bad. Is the butt in the right place? Give me a thumbs up or not. All right, thank you. Nice, Alflin. Now you can really feel that reach. Even like hold yourself even longer and try to reach farther on the end. That's it. So, yes, that's the idea. Like going backwards, you're doing it. Yes. Okay. Do it forward now. Hold it, and then yes, that's it. You see, there's a huge burst in there. The longer you hold this and really drive into it at the end, the more burst you have. So that was very nice. Chris, you doing all right over there? Give me a thumb up. All right, good. Bridget, you're looking so good this week. How you doing, Chris? You had mute off for a second. I'm gonna try to. There we go. We'll see if that pops back. Oh, he's typing it. There we go.
I think this is doing that version Louis was showing.
Oh yeah, Fox had a meeting. All right, William, that's a nice big long jump. Big fist, you look good as usual.
Thank you. I feel like the jumping with the front foot is easier on my knees.
Okay. And actually, that's why Louis kind of does that a little bit with jumping with the front foot. It's easier on his leg, so it works for him, and that's perfectly fine.
Treat it more like a drop step moving forward.
Everything. As it turns out.
That's it, so better. Every once in a while, yep, that's the way. Nice stop back. That's good. All right. Remember, you can do this with both feet, either one forward and then backwards as well. So I'm going to just take a look at everybody, see how everybody's doing. Very nice. This is a really nice step to really surprise somebody with. You throw the jab right at the jabbing point as you pop in.
It's super fun to watch. Ah!
That's right. All right, let's see how everyone else is doing. Yeah, I'm going to watch Beth here. All right, Beth, let's see it. Make sure that back foot. Just make sure you pass. That's one of the hardest parts with this step is you have to watch turning your feet, because if you turn your feet, then your whole body is wrong and your blow becomes wrong. Yeah, nice octave. You can see how it's really nice and fast. So, nice job, everybody. All right, next one.
All right, we got 2 left. So we got hopscotch. I'm just gonna jump out to the side and in, both feet same time.
Again, you look, her head stays perfectly even.
Well, it tries.
It tries.
Within the realm of
Yeah, no.
And then you can do it backwards, of course. Always backwards.
Nice and fast now. This is where our agility work comes in place. These are the last 2, so push into them. This is where we're working hard. Nice, Bridget. That's the way. Blue, good job. Way to stay with it, Chris. Abelard, that looks good. You're keeping your back pretty good there. Much better than last week, by the way. Bridget, I'm totally impressed how straight up and down you keep your back. So, really nice job. All right, Bess, push it. Let's see it. There you go. All right, that was much better. All right. Self-line, very good. All right, let's go ahead. Last one.
All right, last one. Almost the same as hopscotch. We're just going to move 1 foot at a time now instead of jumping with both. So step out to the side and then into the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, right, left, right. And then you do it backwards. And then you do it
That
with
time
the
I
other
started
foot.
with the right. I started with my left, and halfway through I started with my damn right.
It's like you shouldn't end up switching feet in the middle. It should be left, right, left, right, left, right the whole time, or right, left, right, left, right, left. Whichever
So now I
one you
have to switch
started
feet in
with.
the middle? Is that
Yes. Now you're required to switch in the middle every
I may do it anyways. Terrible. I suck.
Yes, I definitely believe that.
This is the worst one for me.
Backwards is the worst one. With my knees buckled, I leap forward.
I know.
Oh. It's good. It's good times.
One of these days I'll get this one right.
That one gets the hit. Woo!
Ooh.
That's it, work it. I'm gonna give you a break after this, so don't waste this working time. The more you work this, the harder you'll be at practice with everybody else. All right, for folks that are done, let's get some water in you. All right, let's get some water in you and go get a refill of the water if you have it.
The good news is my low back is no longer saying screw you. Now it's my upper one for doing it with the helmet on.
It's all right.
So we're gonna, after you get back, go ahead and bring your Pel. We're gonna do rotations around the Pel this time. If you don't have room to rotate, put the Pel against the wall and we'll do half rotations around the Pel. Key here is we're gonna be working on a lot of foot turning, making sure our feet are in the right space. Chris, for you today, all I want you to do is work on the feet here, and then we can add sword later to the drills you're going to do. Right now, just work on feet. For the folks that have been here forever, you should be working on striking stuff. If you don't have the height in your area, just grab a short stick. You can even put a short stick in your shield hand, it doesn't matter, but let's make sure you got those in the right place, and then we can practice a little bit of timing of that sword blow, okay? So let's get some water. I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 minutes. Get my water.
Yes, Pel waltz is a term you could use for that. For awkward dragging of Bob.
This is the section I'm really glad I'm outside because I can finally go around the Pel.
Yeah.
Yeah, having space is nice.
This is the first time I got to the end of the end of the ladder and didn't run into the garage door, so that was a plus.
Yeah,
I hit it going backwards.
we do that too. It's good times. Octo, what is the base of your Pel? Is that a car wheel?
It's worth its spell, and he gave it away. So I took it. Tire rim, it's a wheel filled with concrete.
That's what I thought it was. No.
He doesn't build anything half-assed. It took both of us to get it in the back of my truck, and it was only the grace of God that I got it out of my truck without dying.
Yeah, that's why we have a tendency to do the 5-gallon paint bucket full of concrete, so at least it has a handle.
My other Pel is permanent, but
It's a nice one.
it's not conducive to this much movement. It's only got just the outside of measure range on it.
Yeah. The other trick, get a little hand truck cart, and then you use it to roll it around. That's how we were doing ours for a bit.
Yeah.
When they were full outside and weighed a lot more than it does right now.
Unless you really like awkward lopsided deadlifts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when I can start curling this, you all got to start worrying. So.
Yes.
I won't need hips. I won't need hips anymore. I might need an IV in a freaking medical bed.
All right, so everybody knows in the next couple of weeks we're going to introduce some other training.
If you do that, remind me to shoot you. That's West Frontier War hard.
So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to work on some other drills that you guys can do as people are getting their shots and things like that. So that
when you can start having more partners.
So that when you can have a partner that you trust, and then as we're able to get together more, we'll show you some other drills that we use the same style footwork in to try to start integrating all of what you're doing with your feet inside of a fight, because that's a whole nother layer of learning that has to be done. You have to practice these. when you go to a fight practice, it's not about beating the other opponent. It's about taking some of the things that you've done and see how you can apply them and how it works on them, and then learning from those spaces. So in the next few weeks, we're going to add some pad drills so you guys can see what pad drills are like. We're going to add some basically footwork drills with a partner so they can get used to how your partner responds and how you can change those feet in like 3/4, like you're working a fight practice. So I want to add those a little bit, and we're just going to show you. I know most people here are all still can't do that, and it's probably still a couple weeks out, but I want to make sure when you go back to practice that you still have stuff that you can grab somebody and say, hey, can we try this? And I want to get in your head that we have to take what we're doing and we have to work on an opponent with it, right? If I do a long jab step and my opponent hits me, that's fine. I don't care. Because my goal is to make that jab step right. You know, my goal is, to see what my opponent does and see how I can take opportunity on those things. To get used to finding that place to do it. Get used to finding that place I can make a quick switch foot and movement against my opponent and see how they do stuff. Because these are movements that you probably haven't done a lot in combat before. So it takes time to integrate those into combat. All right, we're going to give you guys about another minute. And then we're going to go ahead and work on rotational drills. Most everybody should have, most people here, Grimmer, you have perfect. You have the little sword, little shield. Go ahead and keep that. Folks outside can add stuff. If you feel comfortable, go ahead. And again, you can set your stuff to the side and essentially work your feet once around. And then the next time you can grab your stuff and actually do it if you want. It's where you're comfortable. But remember, number one, we start with feet. And we start with balance to make sure we know where our hips are. So if you're not getting those right or they're not feeling right, put the sword and shield down. You already know how to use a sword and shield and get your feet right. And then bring that sword and shield back.
Do we know how to use the sword and shield? It's like discovering that we never actually knew what we were doing. Because that's why.
All right, now I'm gonna check on everybody, see if everybody's looking like they're ready to go. All right. I think we're waiting for Big Fist there. I don't see him in the room yet. Oh, there he is. He's hiding for the camera, smart man. Let's see, Dramaticus, are you there? Oh yeah,
I'm over here. Stretch my back out.
No, I totally get you. You're smart. You're sitting down, taking some pressure off that back.
What you gotta do.
Bess is taking time out to love the cute doggies.
Also very important.
Also very important. She's getting a face licking. All right. Have a guard. You look like you're ready to go. You're like, anytime, I'm ready. All right. So we're going to start with, again, we're going to go from gather foot to, we'll talk about gather foot, shuffle, and crossing step through a lot of different stuff. We go today in this one, we do mostly the gather and the crossing step. If you're still not comfortable with the crossing step, that crossing step could literally just be a shuffle step instead. But so we'll go through these and let's get some rotations. This drill is all about where you point your feet, guys. So let's make sure we all get the feet pointing the right way. All right.
First one. We're going to go in a circle. We're just doing a gather step. And when we say gather step for the purposes of this practice, all we mean is the feet go apart and then back together. So it's a drop into a gather. So in case you've heard it used differently somewhere else, that's how we're defining it here. And we go both directions. Round your pedal.
This is pretty much the same thing we did on the ladder a couple of times, except now we're just making sure our feet are pointed the right way when we do it. Make sure you keep your back. It's not straight. I'm getting this far today. So,
How's your ankle?
I don't know. remember in this one, if you're using sword and shield, we don't want to see that, as you're stepping, you go like this. You open up. So your sword and shield, that distance between sword and shield, or however you're holding your sword and shield, should be identical in movement as well. So the less
What will happen when you open?
because here's what happens. If I'm standing here and I take a shift, she's going to catch me on that move.
Time
all right? Where if I don't drop the shield or I don't shift the sword, I'm perfectly fine. All right? So feet first, and then watch how your sword and shield looks. Go ahead, Louis. Sorry, in your way. Yeah, I was having. Usually I get around that at 6. So.
Yeah, I came up a little short.
I came up a little short.
But
Thanks, Louis.
I'm just not. My hips are weird. So I'm not wanting to go in that direction.
Got it. So Louis is going to go once more around and he's going to throw shots. So remember, for you guys that have just done this, again, now that you can move your feet, now you can throw that shot as you're dropping into your foot. Good. I'm going to take a look and see how people are doing. Zoom. All right. So all your techniques should be good. The only difference in this is that foot reaching out has to be turning, and make sure you're not just going sideways. That toe will turn your hips towards the pedal as you do it. Nice job, Octa. Let's see, William. Good. Oh, I see. Now you got a bigger pedal here. You guys get full rotation. This is good. Nice. Get the steps right first of it. There you go. Good. That's better. Big fist. Those feel comfortable? Yep. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Nice. Nice shot, Beckman. Good. Now go ahead and drop into those feet a little bit. I want you to give a nice one burst. Get a little bit lower and just drop, step, and burst and make it for real. There you go. Good. Nice. All right. Let's see you, Gerber. Let's see what you got there. Now your hand's dropping on that throw. I want you to keep your hand high. Oh, you can't because you're in the basement. Remember? What I'd like to see you do. I guess that your sword's going to hit the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to put together the stick you're holding together. Hold on, we lost you for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now get a little closer to the bell. There you go. I want you to do the same thing, but hit it with the little stick. Now keep that hand nice and high, right at his face. Even higher. Don't drop the hand as you're throwing. Push it straight up. There. There. Exactly. See how your hand's not dropping anymore?
How it what?
You see how your hand doesn't drop. See, before
Right, but you're right, because I can't, because I'll hit the
right.
the rafter.
you see how important it is with that stick? That stick just came straight out. It was like one motion, right?
So right to, like I'm punching through a tube, right?
Exactly. Like you're punching through a tube. That's what we want. Very good, Jeff. I want you to watch your breath. You're a little out of breath. So get some breath, okay? All right. Let's see how Abelgard, let's see. I want to see you. Same thing goes with you. Next time, I'd like to see you just grab a small stick. Oh, you have one. Even better. Yeah. Good. Now, don't reach up with that hand too high right at the beginning. Throw about a 45-degree angle. See how you break that hand at the end all the time? Look, so your sword looks like it's at almost a horizontal angle to the ground. Change that to about a 45 to the ground. See, that's 90 degrees. Your hand's higher than the blade. But don't do quite as high as the blade. I'm going to show you on the pel here, okay? Can you show just a straight 45 on the pel? So watch. Wait, let me switch screens. Otherwise, you're never going to see it. All right. Actually, come on this side because he'll probably see you better. Foot cam. That's over here, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but another cell phone on the.
It's another person.
There we go. Okay, let me. I'm replacing with a foot cam here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me move the cell phone.
Move it up. Adjusting cameras on the fly.
So he's showing his all over like that, like serving a pizza. Yeah. Right. 45.
Right.
Right.
You want to get behind Bob and shoot it forward?
No, just go ahead right there. So watch Louis' sword. So here's the key. That angle of your sword, so everybody knows when you're throwing a sword shot, that angle of the sword can change depending on where the person's gap of his shield is, and his sword is. So wherever the opening is. Abelard, you're always throwing these serving the pizza shots, type of deal, where they're perfectly flat. Where here, what we're showing you is a nice little 45. It's coming in more of on a 45-degree angle. So now watch, Louis, serve the pizza. See how this is what you're throwing.
Right.
All right. So just change. I'd like you to change your angle a little bit to just 45. All right. Because I'm not worried about serving the pizza every time. I want you to start learning how to change the angle of the sword when you need to change the angle of the sword. Does that make sense?
Okay, got it.
All right.
The flat version is good for like.
Bess?
Yeah, I have a question about that. So, I'm short.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm coming in at a 45, I find I end up hitting shields. I come in flat. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so we're gonna give you a really close-up shot of this with me and Louis.
Okay.
What happens here is, in fact, let's switch the other way. You're coming this way, so you can. So don't worry about your sword right now, or your shield. Drop your shield, your sword. So here's Louis.
Right.
So if I turn, where's my gap?
Okay. Yeah.
It's the same angle as my sword. Where's my gap?
Right there for your head. Yeah.
So this is why changing this angle on this matters so much. So Louis throws. Look, he's throwing that same angle as my sword. And if we turn around, go ahead. This is what it looks like.
Okay. Wow.
This is
okay.
more important for smaller people.
Now make yourself short and show it.
So now watch, even shorter. See how it still slides through the gap.
Okay.
That his hand is inside my body. In other words, as I'm throwing this, look, my hand comes across my body try to put the basket inside your shield.
Okay.
The basket's going on the other side of the shield.
Yep.
On the inside of the shield. Yeah.
Here's what happens if I serve the pizza every time. Go ahead. What happens is, I'm just trying to get over the shield more and more, and I can't do it, right?
Yeah.
So now instead, I just shoot that gap here, right down the center, following his sword line. And if his sword's like this, now look, I'm going to now serve the pizza a little bit because he has to look over his shield. He has to look over that shield to essentially see me. So that's the idea of changing the angle on sword blows. So this is going to become important for all of you later on. I really, changing that angle becomes critical in understanding how to hit your opponent. It's not just throwing the sword. The sword throw itself is the last thing. The thing that's the first is find where you can hit them and where you're dangerous to them.
So Bronis, in situations like that, because I'm short and I see the chest of my opponent here, I often come right down here for it.
Yeah, watch. Louis is going to throw an inside chest shot.
Can't see Louise. Oh, okay, Lou. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, like that.
Yep, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
The only danger in that shot
It's tippy to the chest.
Tippy because you're dragging it down.
Yeah.
So when you throw that shot, push straight out. You drop your elbow, you drop your body, and then you push straight out.
Okay.
Because this is what usually happens, is the sword travels this line to the ground. That is not the strong line. The idea is I drop, look, my sword's still here, and then I push out. I'm just changing my height. I can push out right up here. I can push out right up here. One in the head, one in the body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. All right, let's go back to the Pell. Let's try those shots on the Pell.
Doing shots, or we're going to do the cross step?
Let me finish mine. We're gonna give me 1 minute.
Okay. So practice your shots and/or your gather steps. Yeah.
All right. All right, so we're gonna prep for the next one.
Cross.
So we're gonna do the single crossover step. Go ahead, side. So whichever foot goes, whichever way you want to go. In this case, she's doing her front foot crossing over her back, and then she'll do it the other way around, the back crossing over the front. But you have to turn that foot that's coming around. Otherwise, you'll end up going in a straight line forward. Now, what you should see is this step ends up much bigger. So you'll have less steps to get around your opponent. And again, here, as she's dropping into that step, all your power generates forward into the blow.
I still don't have the time to go in this way.
Yep, that's why we work on it. That arm.
That arm is
Try one
really
where
right.
you throw before you cross. Huh? Try one where you throw just before you cross. Start you can throw right at the beginning.
That seems way too.
There's two places.
All right.
Other direction is the one to figure out.
Yeah, there's two in the next one. There's two strikes in the next one. Because there's two steps.
I'm saying there's two places in the timing that you can find.
So you're just catching the timing a little earlier.
Yeah.
So you're here and throwing.
Yeah.
In hers, it's like
where I'm trying to be loaded in my feet while I'm pushing.
Right. So it's the same thing. It's just you're throwing it a little earlier.
Going to my left.
Hard.
For some reason is not working.
I like it where I throw as lands.
I like it, but my hips are out of alignment when I'm lifting, so I have to lift the feet.
I'm bending the knees a little bit more.
All right. You see how Germanicus is doing there over here?
Yeah.
Good.
That was really good.
The feet are nice and smooth, Germanicus. Have a large, straighten your back. Thank you. Much better. Now, Avalar, when you're doing this, remember you throw as that foot drops. Timing has to be right. It's not about just working around. Make sure you're doing this right too. So let's see it.
Throw when the foot drops or throw when the foot leaves the ground?
So you can throw the foot. I usually throw as it's dropping into place. Don't worry about your feet more first. Now your whole body's turned. Get back into a good stance. There we go. Back into a good stance. There you go. Make sure you're always getting back into your good stance. Because right now your sword hip is forward again. There we go. Good. Back in a good stance. There we go. If you go the other way, you can go to the other side. There you go. Now go the other way. Throw on the onside now. On the side of the pole. There you go. Better. You just have to watch that you're not turning your whole hip when you're throwing those. In other words, what's happening is you're rotating and you're keeping it there. And you don't want to keep it there. You always want to get to your stance, okay? Hey, how those feel? How are those feeling? Let's see.
Pretty good. I'm experimenting throwing on the step so it lands right when the foot lands, and then initiating the step with the hip a little bit later.
Yeah, there's multiple places. This is really a feel thing where you can find, like Louis throws his slightly earlier than the dropping on the step. So as his power is coming into that place, he throws, right? Yeah. So he'll throw as that back foot lands instead, or shortly after. It's like wherever your power cycle is really where you want to finish that.
Yeah, back foot's landing.
Usually my shot is landing just a second after my foot lands or heartbeat.
Okay.
I'm trying to play around with it so it's not predictable.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key is, you can totally play around with it. I'm in the way. Nice. Those look good. I'm gonna follow up on some other folks here.
Oh, wait.
Kramer, good job turning the feet.
We're back. Sorry, everybody. Our laptop crashed again because my home internet is communicating us. We They have a speak with their.
Remember, you look tired there. Getting some work in? All right, I'm gonna see if go over to who else we got. Right, who else we got? I'm gonna just catch a couple other people, so I want to make sure everybody's doing good. Blue, let's see real quick. Good. Your butt's not too bad, Blue. That's good. That's looking really good. All right, so we're gonna pop back over to Abelard, and that way you can see some hip stuff here. All right, so he's having a little bit of trouble with hip stuff.
You want me to show you?
Yeah, go ahead. Do an overhead first. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna switch to the camera. There.
All right, so I'm gonna get a little closer to Bob. I'll be, closer to normal. So
slide Bob if you need to.
yeah, so when I'm traveling, you notice my hips are still with Bob here. Here I am, still with Bob. Still with Bob. Even if I throw, bang, still with Bob. Bang, still with Bob. Bang, right? Now if I go the other way, same thing. I have to turn this foot. You got my foot still facing Bob. It's not this. So make sure you're not doing it this way. See, my foot's actually on the other side of Bob here. I turn this foot, I pass, and I throw. Sorry, my throws aren't going to be very good. I'm really tight on Bob here.
Bob and the boss.
Right? So even when I throw this, so if I'm way out here and I throw and I get ready to throw, I pass over here, okay? What I see you doing is that you're passing here and then you're throwing and the feet are getting even. Try not to even those feet up.
I'm here specifically saying when stepping behind, it's twisting hips.
Okay, so when you're stepping behind, here's where some of the problem could be stepping behind. You're turning your hip first. Remember, don't turn your hip first. Look, just lean into, watch my body. See how my body leans into that forward foot?
Right.
My back foot just crosses over, almost like it's crossing the calf. It crosses over, and then here, you notice I'm not turning. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. Here I am. Look, my hips are, put your fingers on your hands on your hips. Keep them nice. Keep Bob right where it's supposed to be and go nice and slow around him.
All right.
All right?
That does or can end up a little different going the cross behind versus cross forward. Like that's where I was struggling as well.
Yeah, the timing of the shot may change,
different.
but right now, I think the problem is you're turning your hip out to get the turn. Like I'm going this way, so I want to turn.
Yeah, I'm taking the step too slow. If I take a faster step, then my feet get in the right place.
All right.
And
good.
my hips go in the right place. If
All
I
right.
take too slow a step, then I have to shift my hips, or else I fall over. So okay, I get it. I think I get it.
Glad we could help you.
You can also practice it just going in a straight line, just trying to do the crossing steps while keeping your hips straight. Like that.
True. Not in basement, but yeah.
All right, so I think most people got this one. We're going to add a little bit of a harder one. If you're still working on the last one, go ahead and do it. Keep doing the last one if you're still having trouble with it. But now we're going to add a little bit more distance on our rotation around of our opponent. So, Side's going to take a small gathering step. And when I say small, probably about 6 inches. Small gathering step.
Pointing in.
Pointing, again, making sure your toes are pointed. And then a crossover step.
Small crossover step.
Right. So we're just adding the last 2 steps together. You should be able to rotate around your pel in about 4 steps as you get better at using this. Right. That's the way, Octa. Make sure your body's leaning. Hold your body back a little longer, Akta, until you're almost falling into it. Like your feet have to catch up. Nice, Dramaticus. You're looking good there, once again.
Now let's try it hats on and see what happens.
There you go. That's a little better, Akta. So yeah, the hard part on this one for everybody is holding back the movement. A lot of people want to take that first step. Go ahead. So we're going to do it so you can see it. A lot of people want to take this first step, big, and then you can't move anymore. You can't actually shift your body over your hip. So you take a small one. Now do it super slow. Okay, so here she is. She's gonna take a 6-inch step. Now watch. She's slowly, look, she's falling, and then it goes. So the idea is the more you're falling, the bigger the distance ends up being. If I start that too early, she steps and she starts moving now so even without the fall. So step and then start swinging. So you can't really fall as far, so you don't get as much width on your body. The key is step, shift your body, and go. Remember, we're moving our hip. Our body, our center, is the thing that carries us. So the longer you can push your center out and hold your feet, the faster you'll fall into those drops. That's the way. Akta, that's exactly it. You really have to trust those drops. The good part about this too is you're not moving your feet right away. Okay, so your opponent doesn't get a chance to see it quite as fast, and if you really have to, you can shift back the other way after. All right, go ahead.
Show the other direction.
No, they're still kind of working that one.
Cool.
There we go. And then take a look at Sivrid and see how they're doing. That's it, Sivrid. Good. All right. Good. Take a look at Akta again.
Excuse me.
That's it. You notice now you're really finding that balance in your hip. Your hip is literally leading everything. You just flow. This is the flow. That's it. That's the way, Akta. That exactly. You find that flow where your body's just falling and you're following it. Beautiful. All right, let's see that again, Grimmer. That was nice and fast, by the way. Let's see it again. And then Side's going to do it the other way for everybody. Good. Good, nice. That's the way. Good. Nice job. Blue, I want to see yours. Hold on. Yeah. You're Blue, you're doing a really nice job just floating through those. Now, what I'd like to see you, Blue, from right there, I want you to see you make the small step and a big whipping. Try to get extra distance on the whipping back step. Exactly. See how you're bursting into that step now? Exactly. That's cool, isn't it? Yeah. That's the way. Awesome. Awesome, everyone. All right, so I'm going to show we're going to show you a little cheater step.
Switch the camera back.
Let me switch the camera back because, of course, I have to. So she's going to show you a little cheater step that we do going the other direction. In other words, when instead of doing the forward step, a forward cross step, she's going to make this step a back cross step. So with that 6-inch step,
Actually come forward with it so we can cross behind.
So do it again. Again, she takes a step forward, cross behind.
And then back to my normal stance.
And then back to the normal stance. Exactly.
So it crosses behind, but still ends up in front at the end. range does float in and out a little bit.
Yeah, and remember, fall into that again, Octa. There we go. 'Cause this is what's going to create the real burst around. Yes. Drop into those knees and you'll actually create. Yes, there you go. Good. Much better flow. All right, Sigrid, guys, let's see how you guys are looking. You guys tired over there? Nice sunny day. Let's see that work, Sigrid.
Now do it on the second sword foot landing.
That's what I was trying to do the first time. I ran into
Good. That's better. Good. You're trusting that drop. Keep going sideways. Yes. So on the first step, try not to stop. In other words, just keep that flow sideways going. Yes. That way you can feel yourself just literally flowing all the way through this step. Nice. That was much better. Much better. Let's see who else we got over there. Blue, how's this one for you? Oh, I lost Blue for a second. Oh, there he is. Okay, let's see this one, Blue. I want to see the small step and then that big whip foot. Good. Better. Nice. Nice. Very good job, Blue. I like it. Germanicus, how's it feeling for you? Good? You've been doing these pretty well for a while now.
Yeah, I felt okay. Yeah, my left knee was starting to say screw you, so.
Nope, that's you. You're doing a very good job at showing. Yeah, you do a very good job at showing people when you should take a break when you're not doing something, when you're feeling pain. So, thank you very much. All right, Lard, let's see what you're doing.
Also, too, another thing was with the helmet on, it was still not feeling everything was right. So it's like, yeah, best stop, reassess, and try again.
Yep, exactly. Abelard, your hips are looking much better now. That's it. Now keep that hand up, Abelard. You're dropping it a little low on your defense. Much better. We're going to get a little bit better on that later, but you're coming along real well. That's good. All right. That's nice stuff, folks. Really well done. Okay, we're going to move into our triangle step. Louis, you want to show that one?
Yes.
You okay?
Yes.
Okay. Our resident expert at the triangle step will show this one. Step right in here.
Switch the camera. Right?
Yeah, let's switch the camera.
Oh, we lost Big Fish. Bye, Big Fish. I think there we go.
Yeah.
I'm always late seeing the good guys.
Ready? All right. So with the triangle step, basically we're going to be at a 45 to our opponent, and we're going to want to get to the other angle, the other 45 to him. So we are going to step with the inside foot back, and we're going to bring it forward and across, and then bring the other foot across and back.
And look how he points his toes again. That's really important.
And yeah, I keep my toes pointed toward my opponent when I'm taking that step.
And again, this is a gathering step.
This is like straight up medieval longsword work. Kima, all that jazz.
Yeah. So Louis is going to go ahead. Yeah, and now you can just throw on the shot. If you fall into the step, you throw.
So you can throw when your sword foot's landing every time.
There you go. Remember, good sword and shield work here, guys. Don't allow throwing to ruin your defense with your sword. That sword should be coming back every time.
remember the big key with this is just that you're going side to side, but that you're actually switching which foot's in front. Because you can't just jump side to side, but what makes this different is you end up pointed a different direction.
Right. I'm going to take a look at some folks. So, Avalon, it's only 2 steps. So you're taking a 3rd step to get back into your stance. You're going to be switching stances. So start into. So I'm going to switch back to side here for a second. So what? 1 step, 2 steps. 1, 1 really, right? 1, 1. Yes, that's better. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. All right. Did a really nice job on that sword defense. Sword and shield defense. Watch a little bit. You get a little bit of relaxation with your sword at the end. Your hand's a little high too. Drop it down just a little. All right. Look at blue here. Nice. That's good. Yep. Yep. Nice. Yeah, just again. There you go. Good. That's the way you can find that on each one. There you go. So that timing is just as that foot hits the ground, you should be good now throw. Step throw. There you go. Step throw. There. All right. Good. Right. And you can throw that on the offside on the step back. That's the way. I want to see. I know you're good. All right, I'm going to move over to Octa. Nice. That is good. Not standing a little high, Octa. I want you to stance a little more.
What?
You're looking a little high. I want you down in that stance a little. And really dig in. Yes. There. See how that power. It's like the whip comes right out of that deeper stance. You see how much faster you're moving? Yes. Good. Much better, man. All right, Octa. Germanicus, let's see what you do. That was much better, Octa.
Thank you.
How was that one on your knee, Germanicus? So be careful. You're doing. I know you know you're doing the shuffle step there, not the drop step, right? I don't mind.
But it's valid. Better doing it on purpose.
All right, we're gonna switch to the shuffle one on this one. You want to show it? Who's showing it? All right.
I hadn't realized I was doing the shuffle instead of the drop.
Yes.
I was just worried about what my hips were doing and trying to keep my helmet on right.
Yeah. So Germanicus was just doing this, but now we're showing you guys. This is our shuffle cross kind of triangle step. In other words, the feet come together, and just as they come together, it flips back out. And then the blows can go right on those.
And now Louis is going to demonstrate it better.
All right.
Still working on this one.
Good part about this shuffle is you can actually get a few more inches out of the shuffle step when you're doing it. Sorry. I know.
Oh.
Be careful out there, folks. All right.
The first one I landed.
Okay.
Like this is the middle, get your knees looking right there.
All right. I'm gonna throw. Octa looks here. Same thing. There you go. Good. Think about almost reaching around him on that shuffle step. Switch your feet, Octa. So which foot's forward first? All right, so think about you're facing your opponent. Now go to its 45. Yep.
No.
There you go. Now when you switch, switch your feet. Your other foot should be around in front on the next switch back. On the switch back, not on the. There you go. Good. Now back the other foot forward on the back switch. Yes. Almost like now feeling like you're reaching around and ass wrapping them. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You see how you can feel like you're switching the hip is the hip that's going for the throw. Yes. Now you're actually switching in mid-turn. Now watch those feet. Yep, there you go. Good.
So,
sometimes you'll end up flat a little bit like this.
So when you're moving to the right, your left heel is crossing in front, which is great. When you're moving to the left, you're like side to side. So you can let the right foot cross, the right heel cross in front of the left. There you go. Perfect. Yes.
So, yep, let's see. Yeah, there's this kind of weird. You think that's a background?
I think we can give you a background too.
That's flowing water. Everett, that looks good. Nice. Very nice. Go to Abelard. Too many feet again. Abelard. So let's watch me again. Here we are. This foot, whatever foot's out in front, this foot comes over, and then I switch. Right? So here we are, comes to the halfway point, and I turn. So this is where I actually do throw a little bit of hip in. The feet can actually go almost together. Think about tap heels. Okay? Your feet touch each other. That's another way to think about this, the shuffle.
And this is another one where we're switching stance every time. So every time you go to a new direction, you should end up with a different foot forward.
Right. You can do this with a crossing step. It does make you bigger. Better. All right, good. Oh, yeah, we're watching it, Grimmer. Yeah. That's the way to take it slow. That's good. Good. Yes, the problem is there's people are adding on the call. So, Grimmer, take a look real quick. What I'd like you to do is bring this foot, your front foot, halfway. Just don't bring it all the way over your other foot. Bring it halfway, and then turn this foot out. Yeah, feet together.
But this is
out. Feet together, out. Feet together, out. There you go. A little better. Yeah? That's the beginning. We're going to get you a little more perfect on that step. Same with you, Abelard. We're going to work on those both, okay? Very good. So this step, let's do it again, Blue. Yes. That's it, exactly. The good part about this step is I'm whipping my hip around my opponent. Here. Now I'm going to whip it back the other way. All right? So if the feet are literally, as I whip this, as I create this spinning motion, right, it's almost like, whoosh, I push it over. We create that with feet and everything else just by bringing those feet together. But you have to turn those hips along with turning your side forward. So here's my angles. If I'm looking at it, Bob's in these angles. I bring over here, Bob's still in these angles.
It looks like you're squared a lot more though than a particular.
Yeah. So it ends up squaring a little bit on these. So don't. If you add the hip, you can get these a lot less squared. Oops, that was a triangle step, sorry.
But controlling that width is hard and takes a while.
Thank you. That's cool.
Is this what Lomachenko does?
He does this a lot, yes. Actually, so does Mike Tyson.
One of the things he does a number of things that we steal.
So.
Yeah.
So and then Louis, as you can see, Louis gets travel with his by whipping his front foot over. So he has control of his hips. He just whips it way over here, and then the hips turn as he lands. Same thing in the other way. Whips it way over here, and the hips turn as he lands.
Yeah. And then you try and get it last time before you talk to him.
And you will square up on your opponent a little on this. This is meant to be something usually done in the A-B range. The really good part about this one is if you got your opponent counter turning all the time, he's always really behind you as you're moving, because you're moving. This is a exercise that can be done super fast.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're into one corner, he starts turning, and you're over to the other corner, and then you're over to the other corner.
Yeah, you go back and forth a bit, and then suddenly
In the fight, you freeze him, and then you start this. I mean, it's just constantly.
And it doesn't matter if you're square if they can't get a line on you.
What's that?
And the weakness of being square with your opponent is null and void if they can't get a line on you, if they're constantly shooting.
It's exactly it. If they're always pointing away, what happens is like here we have side. I'm gonna move our pal back away for a second. So side's the pal there, and so I might fake one way, and then I might go into this corner, and then if she turns, that's the gather. Now here's the shuffle. Sorry.
Never quite get to line up.
And you notice her feet aren't moving. So really, even if she turns.
If I try to actually turn my feet, I'm even further behind.
Exactly.
It takes longer.
Nope.
So if you tie your opponent up and their feet stay on the ground and you turn them, it's a super weak place for your opponent.
And then you just another step all the way around. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can do your like jump back and forth and then you do the big ones.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. So if she does this to me, if she goes, she's going to shoot over here. And if I turn, and then she does a big one, I'm way behind. The idea is, what we're trying to do is get around the outside, only the outside of the foot. Okay? If we own the outside of the foot, then we can get much deeper wraps and things like that. So the real goal is to own that outside of the foot. All right?
When you're going to your shield side, do you throw an offhand or do you wait until you settle and throw a flat snap?
It's up to you. It's really up. In the end, it's up to your opponent, what your opponent's giving you.
whatever's available.
Right? So if I'm Louis' opponent, watch what happens. So he's going to go to his shield side, and we'll show you what happens. So he may test me. He goes to his shield side. I turn and I stay high. Offside ain't gonna work. My sword's here, but now he can stop and throw that center line just like he normally does. Now go back again. He's gonna go, and I'm gonna do this. He goes to the outside. I may do this, and then he has an upper head, or he can throw you offside now. Right? Just go ahead and bang. Or if the guy just doesn't move, go ahead and get back.
Just freezes and hunkers down.
And I really don't move enough, and I just turn my upper body, he can still throw that offside or the head, or the other. Yeah, and he can throw really deep here. Right around my sword. See how he just leans around? Well, I gotta get really turned to actually block that shot.
I think my question is more about timing. As you're landing shield
Oh.
side, you can throw an offside, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you can
it's
also.
hard to,
And
is
what
it
I'm
hard
saying.
to throw an onside flat?
No. So here I am. As I come here, I throw it down the center. Okay? There we go. Now offside.
Even if you're jamming your hip forward?
Yeah, you can still throw a center line
Right.
as you fall into that.
So for all of these, frequently when you're landing with your sword side foot, it's a good time to land your shot at the same time. But you can learn to land your shield side foot and have your sword blow land at that time too. You can practice both, but typically you're going to end up getting more power out of the sword side foot landing, throwing. But if you can learn to throw it both times, that's great.
Exactly, and both ways. So watch, this is a way I would use it without an offside. So here I am, I'm over here threatening that leg. And then I'm gonna switch here, and I'm gonna throw the inside of this leg. So let me do this again. Here I am, I'm threatening the backside. You see how she's leaning over, and then threatening that backside, and then I come here, and then I throw this inside leg. See where that shot's going? So the shield's way over there. This is a really nice shot to throw the dragging inside leg as you're going around an opponent. The hard part is, if I'm over here, this is what you have to watch a little bit. If I'm over here and I'm threatening high, and I switch over here and throw offside, if she's throwing offside too, we're in a gun shoot. Right? I'll probably have a little better distance than she does because she has farther to throw, but it's a dangerous position. Anytime you throw an offside, it leaves something hanging. If you pick up what's hanging, if you pick up that offside with your shield, then it leaves a gap over your shield. It's just the way it works. But if you drop into that sliding leg shot, it's very safe, even if she picks up with the block. So, but it's very safe. Here I am.
Like I have some weird shot here, maybe, with not really.
Right.
Full shield is kind of defensing me.
Exactly. Yeah, even if she turns with me, I'm still good here. No big deal. I'm still covered. Right? I'm still good. I'm perfectly fine.
Is that
No.
what Ron Goldberg did for that guy that's throwing those high wraps?
What's about the guy with the high wraps?
In the heroic battle, is that what Ron Goldberg did?
I don't know. We did that. Yeah, oh, in a heroic. Yeah. So he slipped underneath the guy and threw. Yeah, he threw that offside to the leg. So he did it. He could essentially he pushed him over here, and then he dipped here and threw through. Right, and walked through. He didn't actually turn his foot and circle his opponent, but he just walked across. He pushes him over here. Hey, bang.
And that guy's arm was stuck so high.
Right, because he was throwing high shots.
Right.
His opponent.
Right, and there's a ton of other stuff Ron does prior to making that work, because he tests it, make sure it's going to work, he double tests it again, then he really puts energy into the first test to draw him off, and then drops and slides right under the arm.
And half the fight setting you up for it, whether you know it or not.
Yeah. All right? All right, guys, we're falling into 4:30, so it's been about 2.5 hours. Is there any other kinds of things you would like to see on blows here? And the thing I really want to get over on blows is that there are a lot of different angles. So again, this is a tool that I would like, if you guys can find one, if you have a banner pole and a banner pole holder, you have a tool that you need already.
No, I in the garage. It's still.
So you can see, what we take that is we take it and we put it in front of our pel.
Yep.
Okay? So we could put this almost anywhere we want. In this case, we're going to pretty much make it almost perfectly on nose for the pelt. All right? So, and then what's happening is watch her sword, watch her basket, her elbow. Remember what I talked about? Elbow comes in, and then you pop that basket. The sword's coming out at the same time. The top of the sword's coming out at the same time, and you're getting on the other side of that pole. So yeah, she's gonna get something with blade orientation only because there's her
blade on that sword has
sword
like rotated
yeah.
to a 45-degree angle and it drives me nuts.
Because this is because you're turning your swords like this, you have to be careful of your blade orientation. But you can see how she's breaking across. So that pole represents, you can see Louis is putting that pole represents a shield. It's an imaginary shield. So what she does is she drops and she pushes it. Yeah, she pushes it right inside the shield.
Yeah.
So now watch, I'm going to just show you something for a second. Here's what happens if she goes to, if she lets the top of her sword dip out first. So elbow comes in, but the sword kicks out. See what happens? Even though the elbow came in, the top of the sword moves first. So now you're rotational again. You have to get that, you can even, and Rongoller does this with his body as well. He just shifts into that leg and throws it. All right, we're going to try to look and see how you guys are doing. And this is going to need to be a hard shot. The idea is, okay? Right, Abigail, grab your sword short. I want to see with that.
I'll go grab
A little better. That's the idea. You're shifting to one side and the elbow comes in and out. Push now. At the very beginning, start pushing the top of your sword forward as you're throwing. There. See, the sword should start. All your body starts. Good. Let's see. I'm gonna flip it over to Octa for a second. There we go. Yes, that's exactly it. Octa, that's it. Right there. You see how you can literally throw on the other side of something.
It feels real cool when you pull it up.
Exactly. Hey, your dog's up. Yes, that's great, Octa. So Octa is just using his pellet as the pole and pushing past the pellet. If you guys want to do that. Different, I'm going to come over to you. I want to see you do this. We're going to have to fix your back, your yeah, there we go. Yes, that's it. Good. Yes. You're doing a very nice job pushing the tip. This is the idea of, Louis, who's that guy? The guy push the tip. Push your offense.
Oh, Michael J. White.
So this is the idea of Michael J. White stuff.
Kimbo slice.
Kimbo slice. The idea is you lead with your weapon.
Find that video, watch it, it's fantastic.
All right, Germanicus, I'm pulling over to you.
Weapon.
Very good, you're looking awesome there. Yes, that's the way. You see how you're sliding inside that pole? That's exactly what we're looking for. As soon as you understand how to make these shots work, because this is, now we're concentrating on angles and not throwing. We are just concentrating on what angle I want my sword at when I throw something. Okay, I am going to go back and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to replace the spotlight here, and then I'm going to go. Hey, Louis, I'm going to do this top down. Which one is the top down?
Other piece.
All right, so you can see that pole is like right in front of Bob, and Bob. Yep, there it is. Yeah, put everything on the line. You got that cross line. Perfect. Awesome. Make it a little more visible. There's the red pole. There we are. And then Louis is gonna stand over the other red line. There we go. And now watch his sword. See how it's on the other side of the pole? And elbows across. You notice Louis' shield stays nice and tight to him. And then the idea is you have to break that wrist back. If you do not break, you allow your wrist to roll over on the strike, then you're gonna go flat. See how you end up flat there? Allow that wrist to roll, turn your hand into the direction of the angle. That hand turns at the end and creates that force going forward. That's the way Akta. And remember, most of this shot should be always going straight forward and not down. So do you want to see what we mean by that, Akta?
I got what?
So this shot should be going forward and not down. So let me change cameras real quick, and we'll show you what we mean. The other people. I know, but which one do I have to switch to? And then I'm going to switch to the foot cam here. Whoop. Sorry. So again, in this, the sword goes directly out. Just to make sure when you're throwing this angle, okay? So let me go ahead and here I am. That sword's coming straight towards me. Notice how his hand doesn't drop a lot, or the sword doesn't drop that much either. So the idea is we don't do it this way. See how the sword's dropping to the ground? But even if you're here, we're not rolling in and down. Although we can a little bit. We're really rolling in and out. See how it's lined, that straight line at me?
Yeah.
All right? Now, this is getting a little technical in throwing, guys, but I want you guys to start understanding some throwing techniques. All right, and we have we have a lot of people in this crowd probably totally ready for it. So, yes, that's it. You see how you're pushing way out, and that's just going to create more range for you now.
Yeah, let that foot rotate.
Yeah. Let your feet turn now as you throw.
Both of them.
Right on the balls. Yep. There you go.
Let that front rotate too a little.
Bring that elbow. Yep.
I dropped a link to the video about the elbow slice lead with your weapon.
There. That's it. You got your elbow back across. That's it. Right there. Yes. Perfect. That's it. Akta, that's exactly it.
That's almost like the shot you threw when you came out that was targeting the rear of the thing.
Exactly. It's very much like it, isn't it?
I love that.
So now you can really reach at a distance.
Okay. Yeah.
You add that with a quick jab step and bang. You pop it right in their face, right? And you don't even need to add the jab step. Yeah, there you go. You get any of those, right? Or just go back and push your distance out. And then you can add a quick jab step forward and throw at the same time. Yes, that's it. Exactly. Very nice. All right, Avalon, I'm watching you. So straight out. I went, yep. There we go. So next week, I want you to work this all with your short sword, okay? Good, now top of the sword, that's it, push it. So, your hand's coming a little far back. I hold it, make sure your sword tip should not be forward. There you go. Better.
I just managed using the top swords on one sword.
Yeah.
We'll get that thing.
Rimmer, how does this feel? Yeah, watching you. Now, take the step out. Yeah, just shift to your front foot, just like we usually do. Then turn. Now, you have to turn. Your knee is going. Here's where the danger is for you right now. All right? I want you to do that right like you're throwing right at the camera. Get in front of the camera. All right. So right there. Yep. And you're going to. So what's happening is you're not turning your foot. So your knee is going over the outside of your foot and it's becoming dangerous. So make sure you turn your front foot too.
Ball of your foot.
Ball of your foot on your front. There.
Yeah.
Exactly. See how that frees your hip a little too? It also makes your knee more stable. All right. Thank you very much. I don't want you to hurt your knee, okay? Yes.
You don't have to go too far.
No.
You just have to bring it up so it'll go whatever
Yeah.
you need.
And remember, you don't have to turn the body so much. Just bring the elbow. Bring that elbow across and out. Yep, now. There you go.
Just cross enough.
All right, Blue, let me see you. Want you a little tighter, Blue. Where's your sword and shield work?
Tap them together.
Put those, tap them. Tap your basket on your shield edge. Yep.
Yep.
Now 2 inches. There you go.
There
Thank you. There. Now you're nice and tight. It's easier to throw now, isn't it? Now rotate on the balls of your feet. Let both feet free. Let that back foot turn. There you go. Now I want you to be a little less wide in your feet. You gotta get a little wide there. Now can you go back to the garage door and do this? Because I want to see your feet. Okay, right at the camera. There, yep. You're good. I could see you. Ah, there you go, okay. Right there. Now turn the feet as you, yep. Now let your back foot release. Just turn on the ball of your foot. There you go, good. Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's why we turn on the balls of the feet a little bit.
A little bit with the left foot too.
Yeah, and now you can do both a little. Both feet. Let the front foot turn out a little bit as you throw it. Like your heel will kick in. Yep, there you
Yes.
go. Don't have to be huge, just a little bit. Exactly. All right. All right, guys, we're a little past 4:30. It's been a long, you guys have been working hard. You guys did a great, great, great job. Ron Welder, how'd you guys do over there? Let's see if he's still around. I think he's working with his man-at-arms as well. So, how's everybody feel? Everybody getting a little idea on some of the on some of the sword work? We're driving into a little more detail on sword work. I want you guys to understand angles of sword.
That's working much better today than it has before. So
good. It's good. We're gonna keep building. We're gonna keep building on. She's turning a good camera on so you guys can see me talk. We're gonna keep building on that good work of turning those angles and picking those angles, because you'll see those angles perfectly in your opponent. As soon as you know you can hit a perfect angle at 2 inches wide, you'd be like, I can hit that. Now you're a danger. And then they're going to adjust it, and you're like, oh, I can hit that one instead. Yeah, right? And they're going to adjust it. You're like, oh, I'm going to give them a little foot, and then I'm going to hit that one. Right? And that's where we're trying to get to. Right? We're going to use feet to manipulate somebody. You're going to see what's available. You're going to test to make sure it's truly available, and then you're going to execute. If it works, that's exactly what you needed done. If they make a block, no problem. You just know more about that opponent now. Right? And then we keep working. Then you give them a little jab step. They tension up, and you break to the side, and you throw the shot. Right? That's how we're getting into from feet to hands. But I want those hands to be really detailed. I don't want you to think about I'm swinging my sword. I want you to think about I'm hitting this guy with the top part of my sword or the middle part of my sword in that gap at this angle, because that is what's open.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay? That's where we're going. Great job. Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Wave goodbye to Facebook.
I look forward to hearing how everything went, how you guys feel tomorrow,
Stay
okay?
on if you want to chat. Bye, Facebook.
Bye, Facebook.